Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. One thing that we all know for a fact is that many jobs are at risk of essentially being lost as a whole, mainly due to AI. AI is actively and realistically changing the way that people work and the way that companies operate. AI is predicted to significantly impact the job market, potentially automating many tasks and displacing workers, especially roles involving routine and repetitive tasks. Now, it's quite interesting because so many of the companies that we've covered on the channel, we are seeing many white collar jobs being replaced. Again, this is what's being reported as well by Goldman Sachs and McKinsey, who are suggesting that AI could displace millions of jobs, particularly in the white collar and entry level positions. It's quite interesting though, because obviously we've been covering this for quite some time, and you quickly find that it's not just the base level workers that are being let go. In a lot of cases, it's the managers, the upper managers, the middle managers, people who were traditionally thought of as highly skilled workers. However, as times change, as the markets change, these jobs are required significantly less than they may have once been. And of course, we're now seeing this play out in real time. This ties very well into the story that we're going to be covering today, as we're seeing Microsoft cut about 4% of its workforce and jobs amidst hefty AI bets. Microsoft seems to be going all in on AI, as they are going to be cutting nearly 4% of their global workforce in a new round of layoffs, impacting thousands of employees. The decision comes as the tech giant aims to control costs while simultaneously investing heavily in artificial intelligence. The move comes after previous job cuts, which have affected approximately 6,000 workers. Reports surfaced in the last month indicating further reductions, particularly within the sales department. The company, which also had around 228,000 employees as of June, has committed $80 billion in capital spending for the fiscal year of 2025. The layoffs are likely to reflect a strategic realignment, as we hear so many times, right? Anyway, this is going to be prioritizing AI development while seeking greater financial efficiency. The full scope and areas are still unfolding. But one thing is clear, right? This is what we're seeing all across tech, all across the world, right? This is not something limited to the US, it's not something limited to Microsoft. However, Microsoft does appear to be going particularly heavily on this. And do bear in mind, we've already seen Microsoft layoffs in the last few months. And even in the last few years, right, so many workers, so many departments being impacted. We're seeing this massive comprehensive list of companies which are cutting back staff. Again, Microsoft being one of them, cutting obviously those 9,000 workers, 4% of the global workforce. And again, this comes after a reduction of more than 1,000, or I should say 1% of the workforce, 6,000 in May, and potentially around 300 in June. This is not the only company doing it, but Microsoft is not struggling at the minute. This is something which is, again, quite common knowledge. Microsoft as a brand, as a business, is not financially struggling at the moment. But as companies have the opportunity to make more money, capitalize upon more potential revenue, more potential income, of course they are going to do that. They're going to be turning to AI more and more to take away some of these jobs because they're simply not needed in this day and age. It's unfortunate, but it is just a reality of where we are right now. If you remember, just the other day we looked at the Indian tech giant TCS, which is laying off quite a lot of workers, and the main takeaway I found from that story, at least, was the way that AI is impacting jobs, right? AI could eliminate around 500,000 jobs in the key sector, which, again, it is really quite staggering. Globally, this is going to have a massive impact. Now, of course, this one's coming out of India. We're speaking about a sector which is essentially being taken over by AI. But we are seeing experts say that this is really quite worrying. So the most vulnerable people of layoffs include people managers with minimal tech knowledge. These are in charge of testing or identifying bugs, end-to-end user friendliness before delivering software to clients. But we are seeing this in all industries, right? Around 400 to 500,000 professionals are at risk of being laid off over the next 2 or 3 years, as their skills do not match client demands. Have a moment to think about that. 2 or 3 years. This is not something that's coming, 20, 30 years down the line. It's something which is essentially already here. We are going to be seeing this more and more all around the world, right? AI is taking jobs, it's taking a lot of people's jobs, and it's replacing entire industries. It's really quite incredible how things are going, but this is just the reality, right? TCS, which had more than 613,000 workers before layoffs, said that it was gearing up to be future ready by investing in new technologies and entering new markets, deploying AI at scale for clients and itself, and realigning its workforce model. And this sounds very similar to what we're hearing coming out of Microsoft, right? This is exactly the same sort of thing. It's not just Microsoft, it's not just US. This is happening all over the world, and it's something which people really need to be paying quite a lot of attention to. With that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give us a like and subscribe, and I hope I'll see you in a future one. Goodbye for now.